Oh, no. Not yet. Not yet.
Michigan penalties are out. And, I don't think there's a Buckeye fan in the world that looks at this and says, yes, I think they got what they deserved. They get a fine, which could amount to $30 million. It's tied into postseason revenue. No bowl ban, no postseason ban. Sharon Moore gets an extra game suspension.
Ooh, not this year, though, right? 2026.
Yeah, first game of the 2026 season.
Oh, boy.
Well, because they got to prepare. You got to prepare for the suspension.
Got to get ready for it.
Yeah, so 2 games this year, 1 game in 2026. And as what I thought they were going to do, they hammer the people that have nothing to do with this program anymore. Connor Stallions gets an 8-year show cause penalty. Breaking news, he was not going to work in this industry in college football anyway. Jim Harbaugh, who of course is the head coach of the Chargers, he gets a 10-year show cause penalty. And the NCAA can say, yes, we have fined this program potentially the most amount of money we've fined anybody. We gave the head coach that was overseeing all of this mess a 10-year show cause penalty. We really put down the hammer. In reality, we know what happened. It was a glorified slap on the wrist. It was largely symbolic. No wins are taken away. No postseason ban. No scholarship reductions. None of that. So you won the national championship. You know what this says to me? This is essentially the luxury tax. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series with a payroll of $350 million and gladly writing that luxury tax check.
Well worth it, right?
Yeah.
Well worth it after the fact.
I'm sure that if you went to a Michigan fan a couple years back and said, hey, good news, we can promise you a national championship, and we can promise you that you'll beat your rivals on the way to that national championship and humiliate them. Just one little catch, though. Your coach is going to get a 3-game suspension and you're fined $30 million. Are we okay with that? They'd say, where do I sign on the line?
Sure, right?
I'll take that any day.
I mean, what are we doing right now? We are coming up with giant sacks of cash to try to figure out how we can essentially not buy a national championship, but you know that there's a cost to doing business right now with the transfer portal, with NIL, with your collective still being able to get involved now with the new rules. You are okay spending $20 to $35 million. Shoot, take a look at what Texas Tech is spending.
Shoot.
People are spending big bucks to try to win these titles. If you could be guaranteed to win a national championship with some of that money, you would do that. And we're not going to play any of it for you, but they had a press conference and a bunch of the blowhards with the NCAA were answering some of the questions. It was all gobbledygook to sound like Iron Eagle here. But you can't even sit there and answer questions with a straight face about how this is supposed to be a deterrent. So, okay, you're not going to impose any kind of bowl ban. You don't want to ding people that didn't have anything to do with it, right? Well, then what are you able to do? Because there were not any ineligible players that were involved, right? You were cheating with a bunch of eligible guys, eligible cheating.
There's your answer.
I guess what they were able to
That should be a T-shirt, amazing blue T-shirt that says eligible cheating.
Eligible cheating is what they did, and they did it masterfully, beautifully. Well done, Michigan. You cheated the system. You have to pay a fine, a 3-game suspension. 2 of the games are already to be served. And didn't they pick the 2? Didn't they choose the two for this year
Michigan
to where it suits their needs? First game, you said it's game 1 for 2026. Well, that's Western Michigan at home.
This year it's going to be Central Michigan, which, by the way, they're also in the storm of this, and Nebraska. Those are the 2 games that Sharon Moore is going to be. Oh, by the way, Sharon Moore also gets a 2-year show cause penalty. What does that have to do with anything? Because he already got this job based on the cheating? I don't know.
The show cause penalty basically means that if you were to be hired by an NCAA member institution, you would have to go in front of some committee or some board and explain why you want to do that.
Why you should be able to have this position because clearly you have skirted NCAA rules
in the past
frivolously.
Yes. And so why would Michigan not have to go right back in front of the board and explain?
Because he already has a job.
Why Sharon Moore should keep his job?
Because that's not
What's
the rule.
the difference?
I'm with you.
Why even give him a show cause penalty?
It is
if you don't come down with a hammer.
You know what it's called? It's called a show cause penalty because it's all for show.
It's all for show.
That's what it is.
There's no bite. There's no bite. It's all bark with this. It really sucks. I'm not surprised. I'm not
surprised at all.
I said yesterday I would hold out hope that there would be at least a 1-year bowl ban. And that honestly, I mean, you can make the case that every year that cheating was done and that you actually tainted possibly some of the outcomes of football games. You had a competitive advantage in between the lines. I think for a lot of this other stuff, impermissible benefits, sure, like that's against the rules. It should not be done. I'm a little bit more lenient to that stuff because I think it goes on, and I, for one, don't care if somebody gets a meal picked up for. It's bizarre because we could go back and look at different cases where they would give a pretty stiff penalty over a lot to do about nothing, over things like getting a free car wash or having one meal paid for. We've seen cases where they would deny entire seasons of eligibility. And this is before NIL started rolling in, where you could say, poor young boys and girls, right? Where they would keep an entire year of eligibility from them because they maybe appeared in one practice game earlier in a season, like 2 or 3 years ago. And then their entire career is just all of a sudden done when they could be having a 4th or 5th year of eligibility. Bull crap like that. And then you have this opportunity with a big brand and a widespread scandal that everybody knows about. It was one of the biggest stories in sports, not just college football. And this is what we get. We don't have a single postseason ban to speak of.
This notion that you can't punish the people that are there now because that's not fair, that's business. I'm sorry, I've never understood
punish
that.
Then?
That's business.
What do you do then?
What do you mean, what do you do?
What do you do? This, I guess?
No, that's what I mean. I don't agree with that.
It's stupid.
You punish. All right? And then if the punishment is egregious enough, then you hit the portal. And yeah, we can avoid all this, by the way, by not coming down with a finding on August 15th. You get your head out of your ass in the spring, and you come out with your finding then. There's plenty of time for kids to hit the portal if they don't like the punishment that Michigan gets.
What was the hammer for Penn State?
With the Sandusky?
Yeah. What was the hammer for?
I don't remember. But it was scholarship reductions and all that.
The point that is there, I'm almost sure. CB, do you remember if they had postseason bans?
And again, we are not comparing stealing signs to raping children.
No, here is the point of comparison. It's that you can't even make more of an argument that players had literally nothing to do with what was going on with that. Players, right? Because you're trying to argue that some of these current players didn't have anything to do. They didn't have anything to do with that scandal. That was sick stuff that coaches were covering up.
That's right. You're right.
Coaches that were still there and a coach that had to leave, as should have been the case. But give me a break. Give me a break.
All right, more conversation about this. We're not done yet. More conversation.